Welcome to the ADOxx webinar about the Modeling Method Designer. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Anna Sumereda. I am a business informatics student at the University of Vienna and a member of the ADOxx.org team. Something about the webinar interaction: all microphones are muted, so you only can hear me. In case you have any questions about the content of the webinar, just type it into the chat window. Let's start with a short overview. This is the agenda for the webinar, and basically I will go through the agenda step by step. Firstly, I will give a short introduction about the Modeling Method Designer. Afterwards, I will present it in a more detailed way and go through the different model types, like the Modeling Method Specification overview, the Meta Model stack, and so on. At the end, I will give you a short summary, and there is time for some questions and answers. Introduction. The terms Modeling Method Designer, Modeling Method Design Environment, MMDE or Meta Model Designer all refer to the same ADOxx library. For reasons of convenience, I will use the abbreviation MMDE in this webinar. First of all, we will clarify the most essential questions. What is the MMDE for? The MMDE provides capabilities in order to specify class hierarchies, to elicit usage scenarios, and to define mechanisms and algorithms. Why do we need the MMDE? The outcome of an MMDE project can be used as an input for a modeling tool implementation. Where do you find everything? The library versions as well as examples can be found at ADOxx.org. I will show you where you have to go. Let's switch to the ADOxx website. Then go to the developer community, the modeling tool section, and the modeling design environment. Here you can download everything. In order to show you an overview about the tool, I prepared some models for each model type. These example models are based on the ADOxx platform and the Archimate 3.0 specification that is provided by the Open Group. You can find the whole standard online on the Open Group page. The first model type is the Modeling Method Specification overview. It is based on the generic modeling method framework proposed by Karagiannis and Kuhn. It is possible to construct an overview about the project by using objects like in the framework. In order to show you how the MMDE tool works in general, I will model this model type directly with you. Therefore, we open the ADOxx Modeling Toolkit. In case you want to take a look at the example models, you can download them from ADOxx.org and import them in the Modeling Toolkit. I already prepared that to save some time. For further general instruction regarding ADOxx, you can also have a look at the provided basic ADOxx webinars on ADOxx.org and the tutorial section. Let's go to the Modeling Toolkit. We log in. And first of all, we generate a new model type, Modeling Method Specification Overview. We set a name, a version number, and a storage location. Let's go to the Model section, New, Model Method Specification Overview. give a name and a version number, and decide where you want to locate it. Afterwards, we locate the needed elements on the modeling area. These are method, language, procedure, mechanisms and algorithms, and scenario objects. We can structure them accordingly to the generic modeling framework and set suitable names. By double-clicking on the elements, you can change the name. It is also possible to connect the single objects with more details by referring to other model types with intermodel references. Furthermore, we connect them with the provided relationship. In order to get the notation of a hierarchy, I change the aggregate kind attribute to share. It can be reorganized to get a nicer structure. Last but not least, we can make a note box for special comments if necessary. And then we can save the model. Let's go to the next model type. This is the metamodel stack. It is part of the modeling language. The layer structure, described in the Archimate standard, can be decomposed in order to apply the structure of the ADOxx platform, which uses model types. There are various possibilities for specification, for instance, references to other models or model elements. For nearly each element in all of the following model types, it is possible to change the presentation regarding color and size. Besides, properties for model types can be added. Now I will show you the metamodel stack for Archimate. Let's go to the modeling toolkit and have a look at the folder structure. I decided to structure them in the main parts of the generic framework, which are language, procedure, and mechanisms and algorithms. And additionally, I added a requirement section and an example section. The metamodel stack can be found in the language section. It shows the various layers in the different colors which are also in the specification. When you click on the elements, you can see in the notebooks that there are references, description parts, and you can also add properties like names, descriptions, or anything else what you want to do. You can change the representation and you can add requirements. Well, the next model type is the metamodel class. It is used for modeling the class structure of the language object. It is quite straightforward as it is very similar to UML. The specification mechanisms are similar to the model type before. Additionally, it is possible to reference external documents and to formalize an XML schema. Let's have a look. We go again to the modeling toolkit and the metamodel class model. You can see that the classes are quite similar to the UML standard. The classes can have properties and also pointers which show the reference to any object. You can also set the cardinality and requirements as well as open issues. All in all, this type is really similar to UML. Furthermore, we've got the graphical notations model type. It shows the notation of the language elements in detail. Therefore, it is possible to insert pictures via the picture path or by using the Explorer. I will show you now the example for Archimate. I decided to divide the example for the various layers. Let's have a look at the application layer. We've got following concepts. They are always explained by name, notation, and some additional textual description. When we go on a notebook for an element, you can select via an editor which picture you want to include, or you add the picture path. Furthermore, you can always list a description and provide some requirements if you want to. The next model type is the user interaction model. With this model type, you can describe the interaction between users and modeling method or tool. This model type is based on textual descriptions. Therefore, I would encourage you to have a look at your own. Moreover, there are component diagrams, which are quite similar to UML component diagrams. Packages, components, and interfaces can be used to detail the technological structure of a modeling method. We again switch to the modeling toolkit and have a look at the component diagram. We go to the mechanisms and algorithms sections and open the component diagram. Here you can see the packages as well as the components and the connecting interfaces. When you go onto the components, you can see that you can again change the display, you can add requirements, and you can make a detailed description by filling out the elements in the notebook. It is also very similar for the packages. Here you can also add external documentation. Not only component, but also sequence diagrams are offered to model the messages between various involved actors, tools, softwares, or databases. Let's have a look. The sequence diagrams are quite similar to UML. You have the actors, the message flows, the answer messages, and the lifelines. Furthermore, the procedure for the modeling method is captured in an own model type. It shows relevant steps for the modeling language as well as for mechanisms and algorithms. A sequence can be set, the predefined structure consisting of blue and white areas for language, procedure, and mechanisms and algorithms can be used as a foundation. Again, we change to the modeling toolkit, the procedure section, and the procedure diagram. Here you can see the single steps of the procedure. The blue and white boxes are predefined. By clicking on the elements, you can choose the reference diagrams and also the mechanisms and algorithms type, which can be visualization, query, simulation, or transformation. Again, you can also change the display. The smaller steps are sub-steps. Example models are really straightforward. Pictures can be loaded into the picture elements by using the Explorer or simply by inserting the path. This model type is very similar to the graphical notations model type. In the example section, there are examples for the application, the business, the implementation, the motivation, the physical, the strategy, and the technology layer, and also some examples cross layers. In the application layer, you can see 3 examples. When you double-click on them, you can see that these are selected pictures. You again can select the file path or select a picture via the Explorer. Last but not least, there are the scenario models. Scenario models can be used to define different views and scenarios. Requirements within the views can be used to frame possible prerequisites for a specific MMDE project. A special functionality is provided by a script that enables the automated update of requirements. This means that the visual appearance of requirements changes regarding their reference status. We go back to the modeling toolkit and have a look at the requirement model. Here you can set requirements. In case the requirements have a reference, like here, the color changes when you execute the script. We now reset all requirement status to prove that it really works. Not referenced ones are gray. If we now use the Tools section and the Update Requirements states, their color changes. Yellow means that they are referenced, and red means that they are not referenced. So now it's time for questions. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to type them into the chat window. We try to answer them after the webinar. In the meantime, I will summarize the purpose of the MMDE very briefly. The main focus of the modeling method design environment is to specify scenarios, hierarchies, and mechanisms and algorithms in order to set the basis for implementing a new modeling method. For this reason, the MMDE provides a variety of model types to capture the notion of a new modeling method project. Last but not least, if some questions arise after the webinar, please contact us under info@ADOxx.org. For sure, you can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or join us on LinkedIn. Thanks for your attention.